For decades, scans beneath the Sphinx have revealed empty spaces, and no one fully agrees on what they are. They detected cavities, they mapped voids, but they didn't open them. In '95, a team from the University of Texas at Austin rolled their ground-penetrating radar across the limestone platform beneath the Sphinx. Dr. John Ferguson led the campaign, pushing for the kind of data that could cut through centuries of rumor. Their approach was relentless, a dense grid, lines spaced just 0.25 meters apart, antenna power tuned for maximum penetration, up to 30 meters below the surface. Every trace mattered. Every meter was mapped. No shortcuts. The radar didn't just bounce off solid rock. It picked up something else. Under the Sphinx's nose, a rectangular void appeared, about 4 meters long, 2 meters high, sitting over 12 meters down. They logged it as Anomaly A, not a vague blur, a clear geometric shape. Then came Anomaly B, deeper still, beneath the right forepaw. This one was smaller, but again the edges looked too sharp for a random fissure, 3 meters by 1.5, at nearly 16 meters deep. And then a third, Anomaly C, a linear feature running north-south under the temple ditch, stretching at least 6 meters. Ferguson's team didn't stop at detection. They ran finite difference time domain models, filtered out noise, sharpened the images. The raw data, traces, coordinates, calibration logs, were archived at the University of Texas. But here's what makes this strange. The team warned that high-frequency radar in limestone can generate ghost signals, especially where minerals shift. Still, the anomalies held up through every pass. No excavation followed. The voids remained untouched, their purpose unknown. The baseline was set, but the technology was about to get even sharper. If you enjoy uncovering hidden truths buried beneath ancient monuments, subscribe, because the next mystery we're investigating might be even more shocking than this one. By 2018, the picture beneath the Sphinx sharpened. The AER/ARSVP team swept the site with a 900 megahertz radar, nearly double the frequency of the 1990s gear. Higher frequency means finer detail, even if it loses some depth. The result was a subsurface map with slices just 5 centimeters thick, each one peeling away centuries of guesswork. Under the Sphinx's nose, the original void, once measured at 4 by 2 meters, resurfaced, but with a twist. The new data showed a slightly larger rectangle, 5 by 2.5 meters, its edges more defined than ever. The reflector sat at 13 meters down, 1 meter deeper than Ferguson's earlier reading. Not a smudge, not a trick of the radar, a geometric shape, right where the rumors said it would be. But that wasn't all. The RSVP scans caught something new, Feature X. This anomaly hid beneath the left forepaw at 14 meters, irregular and jagged, nothing like the boxy voids. The team flagged it as likely natural, but the debate didn't stop there. Some saw the rough outline as evidence of a collapsed chamber, others as a simple fissure in the limestone. Then, in 2020, Geoscan International pushed the envelope with a 1 gigahertz antenna. Their claim was sub-decimeter resolution, sharp enough to spot what they called an engineered edge in the zone of Anomaly B. The press release hinted at aligning, man-made maybe, but with no peer-reviewed paper, just raw screenshots and a schematic, the evidence remained out of reach. Every new scan added detail, but also more questions. The void under the nose grew more defined, the edges sharper. Feature X complicated the story, hinting at natural chaos or hidden design. The ground beneath the Sphinx wasn't just empty space, it was a battleground of interpretations, and the technology was only making the mystery deeper. Edgar Cayce, a self-styled clairvoyant from Kentucky, sat in a trance in 1932 and spoke of a hidden library. He called it the Hall of Records, buried beneath the Sphinx. He described it as a vault of ancient knowledge, sealed before the rise of Egyptian civilization. No blueprints, no artifacts, just words. Yet that single reading ignited a legend that outlived him by decades. By the 1990s, the story had new fuel. Robert Bauval, an engineer turned author, published The Orion Mystery in 1994. He pointed to the Sphinx's east-facing gaze and the alignment of the Giza pyramids with Orion's belt. Bauval did not claim to have found a chamber, but he argued that the Sphinx was more than a monument, that it was a marker for something lost. His book sold millions. The idea of a hidden archive, once fringe, now sat on bestseller lists and in late-night documentaries. Casey's prophecy met Bauval's alignments. Suddenly, the question was not just about stone and sand. It was about what might be waiting below. In the space of a few years, the Hall of Records theory moved from psychic transcript to cultural phenomenon, setting the stage for a digital age hunt that would blur the line between myth and measurement. Graham Hancock's 1995 bestseller, Fingerprints of the Gods, didn't just ride the Hall of Records wave, it drove it into the mainstream. The book sold over 3 million copies, pulling the idea of a lost archive beneath the Sphinx out of the shadows and into airport bookstores. Suddenly, the Sphinx wasn't just a monument, it was a question mark, a challenge. By 2017, the Ancient Architects YouTube channel launched its Sphinx Secrets series, racking up millions of views with slick CGI, animated voids, and a narrator who spoke in hushed tones about forbidden discoveries. Clips of radar scans flashed between claims of hidden libraries and lost civilizations. The myth was now viral, looping through Reddit, Facebook, and late-night podcasts. But the official line was blunt. In 2018, the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities issued a press release. No textual or material evidence supports the existence of a vaulted archive beneath the Sphinx. The statement landed like a hammer, but the online echo chamber barely flinched. Hancock doubled down, calling the anomalies architectural evidence of something more. Ancient Architects kept uploading, each video sharpening the divide. The debate was no longer just academic. It was public. And it was relentless. Legal walls and locked gates were about to take center stage. Digging beneath the Sphinx is not just discouraged, it's illegal without the highest level of clearance. Egyptian Antiquities Law, Article 14, spells it out. Any unauthorized excavation under a protected monument can cost up to 500,000 Egyptian pounds in fines and even prison time. That's not a symbolic warning. In 2015, a drilling permit request for a 20-meter core near the Sphinx's back was flatly denied. The official reason? Structural risk. Conservation engineers had run finite element simulations. Remove more than 15 cubic meters of material, and you risk setting off cracks that could ripple through the limestone body. Even minor drilling is tightly regulated. Most permits cap subsurface penetration at just 1 meter, and every proposal faces a multi-layered review by the Ministry of Antiquities and UNESCO's World Heritage Committee. Sarah El Mahdi, a leading voice for preservation, argues that any disturbance could threaten the monument's stability. Her stance is blunt. The Sphinx is already fighting centuries of erosion and water damage. Introducing new stress is a risk Egypt won't take. That's why every radar scan and resistivity map is non-intrusive, locked to the surface, and why the deepest answers remain just out of reach. A seismic corridor, 4 to 6 meters wide, cuts beneath the Sphinx's head and paws. That's not rumor, it's in the velocity models. Low-frequency waves slow down, hinting at something less dense than solid limestone. But what is it? In 2021, a muon scan aimed to settle the debate. Detectors waited months for cosmic particles to reveal hidden voids. The result? Nothing statistically significant. No chamber, no dramatic density drop, just background noise. The data landed with a thud, yet the corridor remains. Mark Lehner, the Giza Mapping Project's lead, calls it textbook karst. He points to the plateau's fractured limestone, shaped by groundwater over thousands of years. In his words, any cavity at this depth is most plausibly a natural fissure. His models show how water dissolves channels that can mimic the shape of a corridor, sometimes even right angles, if the bedding planes stack just so. Sarah El Mahdi, a preservation geologist, isn't convinced it's all nature. She notes the alignment. The low-velocity zone runs almost perfectly east-west, mirroring the Great Pyramid's so-called air shafts. Coincidence or planning? El Mahdi asks whether ancient builders could have engineered a space for ritual or drainage, then sealed it before history began keeping records. She's careful. No claims, just questions. The 2022 review in the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology summed it up. Indeterminate verdict. The anomalies are real, but their origin cannot be resolved without direct access. If you're fascinated by forbidden archaeology and the secrets buried beneath ancient civilizations, subscribe now, because the next site we're uncovering may challenge everything we think we know: natural fissure, structural corridor, or intentional chamber. The evidence stacks up, but the answer keeps slipping away. The Sphinx guards its secret, and the mystery only deepens. Today, the voids beneath the Sphinx remain closed, mapped, but not explained. Each unanswered scan fuels debate: natural fissure, ancient design, or something we are not meant to find. As technology advances, so does the urge to look deeper. Some secrets stay buried until the ground finally gives them up.